Welcome to the Trailchasers podcast.
This episode is presented by Nexen Tire. In this episode, you will hear our guests talk about the abuse they put their Roadian MTX tires through while running the KOH course and how the Nexens are up to the task. If you want to tackle rough terrain and don't want to worry about your rubber, go to nexentireusa.com. And this show is also brought to you by Icon Vehicle Dynamics. The Icon suspension continues to deliver smooth on-road performance even after I bash the truck off-road. Hopefully I can do some more wheeling soon, but it's just too cold outside. If you're more man than I am and you want to go winter wheeling, you should get Icon equipped at iconvehicledynamics.com.
Today on the show, we talk to the guys from True North Racing. We talk about all kinds of stuff like racing KOH to Cody's favorite topic, maps. There's a good 5 minutes where Cody just asked these guys whether they've been to these places he's looking at on this Canadian map. It's pretty good stuff. Pretty good. Then we get into the Canadian internet. That's crazy. Canada has its own interweb. It's probably really polite and only used to help people. Jose, you think they have Google in Canada?
Yeah, just Google crackchasers.ca to find out why they're better than us.
Hey everybody, it is 6:30 on a Monday night. We are live on YouTube. Jose and Matt and Cody are in the studio, and we have a whole gaggle of Canadians on our big screen in the studio. The guys from True North Racing are here. How you guys doing tonight?
Good.
Awesome. Yeah, really good. Really good.
So yeah, we were saying how we've got a bunch of you guys. We usually only have one, maybe two people on, so this is going to be a fun experiment.
We usually limit the number of Canadians at one time, because
I don't know if
last time it was crazy.
I think they're doing us a favor.
They really blame you.
Yeah, again, they're doing us a favor. I think it was we could have invited him here to get some of Jose's antibodies, but they didn't need that. It sounds like they got COVID under control. So the True North Racing guys. So you guys, I came to know you through Nexen. You guys have a relationship with Paul and Nexen Tire. And then I know that you have participated in King of Hammers and a lot of the other stuff. But tell me how, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of you guys, 6 of you guys get together to start a race team with multiple trucks in multiple classes, running multiple races throughout the year. How does that happen?
You guys want me to do
driving off road?
No, of course. We didn't just fire up with 6 cars. That would have been really cool and ambitious. We actually started out as it was 3 of us that wanted to kind of get involved with various backgrounds, but we were all kind of into off-roading and wheeling, and 3 of us here in Fort McMurray, Alberta. We decided we wanted to try and we've been kind of following KOH for a while and Ultra 4, and decided we wanted to build a stock class car. And we bought a ZJ, a 98 ZJ. Actually, the car that Joey's racing right now was the one we bought originally. And we started to work on it. And we had the goal of trying to race in 2015. And as the year progressed, we just weren't making the progress. It's the same story everyone has, right? It's like, we weren't making as much progress. Everything took twice as long. And it really did. And then towards the end of the season, or the end of the calendar year, it was getting pretty evident that we weren't going to get it done in time. And it just so happened that a Grand Cherokee that won the previous year at KOH stock class came up for sale through Eric Miller.
Oh yeah,
and the yellow one.
Yeah.
So we were kind of like, shit, do we want to try and get this thing, and then maybe we'll just sell the other one? So we hummed and hawed, and we ended up buying this thing off Eric. So it was kind of a 3-person ownership at the time. We all split it. we kind of agreed that the first race we did, I would drive, and our buddy Russell Ziegler would co-drive, and the third guy, Johan, he was going to sit out the first race. So anyway, we bought this thing off Eric, and we picked it up on the lake bed in 2015. So we went there 2 weeks early. We got there. This thing came off the trailer, and it would barely run. So it had a lot of engine problems the first year. A few other things too, but we spent a lot of time troubleshooting that thing, and ended up race like we got it. And despite our best efforts, we got the motor fixed and everything running. We had to swap transmission on the lake bed because it blew up the transmission. Blew up the transmission spectacularly on Chocolate Thunder in front of a whole bunch of people pre-running. So that was good.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, if you're gonna do it,
yeah, might as well fail.
Go big.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we got that changed out. We ended up racing that year. Made it 52 miles, and I yard sailed it off of a few whoops that because we spent so much time wrenching, we didn't spend so much time pre-running. So section of the course that looked relatively tame definitely wasn't. I got a little ambitious, and we literally broke the front axle housing in half.
wow.
And anyway, so that was the start of True North Racing. Our first year, 53 miles. We had to limp it onto the trailer, and we hauled it home that year. And we had a small group show up that first year, and then the second year we went down. We kind of talked to some of the guys that were on some of the local wheeling clubs, and we were part of a local group called here in Alberta called True North Trail Runners. The name's actually kind of a coincidence. We didn't really consider it when we named the team, but it worked out kind of nice. But so kind of recruited a few of those guys to come down. Joined us in subsequent years. So the first 3 years we had just the ZJ, and then the third year or the fourth year was, I'm trying to remember here now. Fourth year was Johan's JK and Lyndon's first car.
Yeah.
So we went up to 3. And then the next year was Joey's car.
Yep.
Strangely enough, Joey's car in a roundabout way ended up, we gave it to Russell when he parted ways from the team. Johan and I stuck with the red one, and we gave the black one to Russell, who then sold it to Joey. And Joey turned it into a race car. So that was actually going to be the original car. It did end up finally making it to the start line eventually, but it took a while. And then, we kind of, since then, Lyndon got a new car. We added Doug to the team, and now Sheldon had his car down there for tuning last year, and he's got it ready to go. So we've got that one. And then Curtis got the side-by-side up and running too. So the plan was to get that one down there this year too. All the COVID stuff is going to prevent that, but we ended up with a pretty good exponential growth, and we're kind of running out of co-drivers now. We got so many people that want to race.
We can't even get one car to do anything.
Well, I will
we can
seriously
barely get there.
See, is Casey in the chat room right now? I have a co-driver for you. Any one of you. I swear, my brother is literally willing to sell parts of his body to get in a co-drive seat. I wouldn't want any part of his body. He's a fabricator. He knows all. He's great.
He's missing fingers.
He's missing part of one finger.
Did he already sell?
That's how you know. That's how you know he's a good fabricator. He's missing part of one finger. But I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Kevin Jones, Ultra 4 Jones. He's a KOH racer as well. My brother almost molested him in order to try to get into the passenger seat.
Almost.
So
Alex will take him.
Okay, perfect. Alex, I got your co-driver. Casey, I got you covered.
Why do you think I had to get my own car?
Be sure to
My
thank.
co-drivers just get their own cars.
Yeah.
Be sure to thank Cody for that recommendation afterward.
I think
Cody at
I think he'd be a great co-driver. He'd be better than me for sure. So going back to that at the start of 2015, you said that you guys had a background in off-roading and stuff, and I know the answer when I asked the question, but how big is off-roading in Canada?
Do it every day.
I figured
just a normal way of life.
Yeah, I figured since you're still, Wild West tilt-up buildings with the wood saloons and stuff, you guys you have to take the carriage over. Yeah. And I say that at the same time. At the end of the show, I'm going to ask you where I should move to Canada. So we'll talk about that later. I need you guys to help me pick out a good neighborhood that's not too cold. I don't like snow.
It's Canada.
You gotta go where Joey is.
Yeah, go ahead. Vancouver.
Except you give up snow and you pick up a whole bunch of rain.
See, that's still not good. I'm born and raised here in Southern California. It's been raining the last 2 days, and I hate it. So the ambition to race in 2015, where did that come from? Was that just primarily from watching the races and thinking, hey, I want to do that, and I think I can do that? I mean, or was that something that built up? Like, how long was that ambition building up before you pulled the original the trigger on the original three of you?
It was a while. We had I'd actually purchased a 98 Grand Cherokee back in 2013, same year my son was born, and that thing ended up just being kind of a third vehicle. We drove around, never ended up doing anything with it, and then after the first little bit with the newborn, we kind of just said, this not going to be able to make this happen. So I sold that one, but never really stopped thinking about it. So after a few more years, kind of got back around a little more serious about it, and figured I wouldn't be able to do it by myself. But Russell, our buddy, he had some previous KOH experience. He had co-driven, and he was one of these kind of a jack of all trades. He's good mechanically, good. He's at wiring, electronics, all that stuff. He can pretty much tune anything. So he was a good guy to have in our corner. So we kind of got him involved, and then that was enough to say, yeah, we think we can do this. So that was of course before we started trying to build this stupid thing, but like that was another challenge in itself. But but it kind of gave us enough confidence to go at it one more time, and that's what got it kind of started for real, I guess.
So that was down in 2011. We went down. We tried our hand. We had Ragnar Robertson drive a rig, and that was such a good experience. I went down again and pitted for the Flying Zucchini Brothers, and then found out that these guys were getting into it in 2015, and then started pitting for them and fixing all their junk, and then started co-driving and.
Now you're going to drive.
If I say that I'm racing, but I really just need some help fixing my truck, will you come and pit for me?
They'll take one look at that.
That's part of the initiation to True North Racing is you have to bring a half-built race car to the lake bed and try and finish.
Well, how do you define race car?
Yeah, he's got a half-built Frontier. Totally different. Totally different. So
I showed up with a half-built Grand Cherokee, and they finished it for me.
Nice.
See what I'm saying? That's all it takes.
I had
show up. Somebody with some wrenches. Can you help me out?
I had an 01 Grand Cherokee WJ. I loved it. My brother built a 93 ZJ. He custom fabbed all the suspension. He took Dana 44s out of a JK Rubicon, cropped all the perches, put new suspension on it, all that stuff. And that ZJ and WJ, I think, are great platforms to build off-road vehicles. I love they're the right size for me, and they're easy. What?
That was just too easy. I was gonna say something, but
that's low hanging fruit.
Low hanging fruit.
Look, you need small and nimble. That's my size. That's what I'm talking about. And there's a lot of available parts and aftermarket support for those things.
Just laying around. I think you just go down the street. Oh, there's some new suspension parts.
Except for that.
I mean, the Rezepa.
Once you get the
Zapruder joint.
Zapruder joint. Oh, I could use one of those.
Once you get the Rezepa joint out. But is that why you guys chose that as a platform?
Yeah, I would say like the Grand Cherokee is a good platform. The because of the restrictions of the stock class with the suspension and the engine and all that stuff. I mean, you get V8 power, you get the Lincoln coil, on all four corners, and you get a good amount of wheelbase, right? So that's definitely the benefits. And the one thing I hate about them is the stupid unibody, because it's not meant for this kind of racing. I could start up my own podcast called Trailchasers, and it's me every week with my welder in the garage finding all the damn cracks in my head.
Please do not Google Trailchasers. Please. That's a whole nother show.
Unless
Hold
that's
on,
your
guys.
thing.
Hold on. I'm going to go to GoDaddy right now and see if crackchasers.com is available.
So check it out, guys. Trailchasers is real, and I got to log off for a while. I'll be back.
Hey, Doug's here.
2 minutes.
How you doing, Doug? Welcome to the show.
Hey, Doug.
We're halfway in. So going back to the growth, like after you did the first time, and how did you convince
The growth. Sorry.
How did you? How hard was it to convince all these guys to come on board and start doing this, or did you have these guys knocking on your door, Alex?
It was surprisingly easy. I mean, we didn't really force anybody, but it was it's like down. Yeah. No, in fact, it was the opposite. Like, everyone's pretty into it, and it wasn't a whole lot of convincing to have to say, hey, you want to come down to the desert and wheel and see all this cool shit for a week? Like,
yeah.
Most guys that are interested in that stuff in the first place are it was a bit actually surprising, because I actually expected more people to kind of say, yeah, I want to go, and then as the time came, they kind of flake out. But we had lots of interest.
Well, and I think a lot of it had to do with a lot of us had been wheeling together. We'd spent a lot of time, hanging out together, spending a lot of time, wheeling, camping, adventuring, doing other trips and stuff like that. So we knew the crew that we were getting into, and we knew the people that we were going to be, hanging out with. So it was really quick and easy to try and like jump in and be like, hey, I like these guys, well, most of them, Joey, and we can go hang out and do what we like to do and have fun, and it's addictive. It's totally addictive. It's a week worth of work. Some weeks, I mean, sometimes it's 2 weeks worth of work, but it's totally addictive, and the atmosphere down there.
So this is how it went down with my race car getting built. I've been co-driving with Alex, and I missed the 1 year. I kept talking to my buddy Blaine Richter. I said, he's putting LSs into Toyotas and stuff, right? I said, you're into the 6 liters and the LSs. I said, you got to come down to King of the Hammers and check it out. I said, you won't believe what's going on there. So I talked him into it, and he went down, but I couldn't make it. So Alex had a really successful, what year was that? 2018? Successful year?
2019 was
19?
Yeah.
So we pulled him second, and did really good without me in the co-driver's seat, so that's kind of disappointing. I wish But Blaine came home. My car had been sitting. I bought it from somebody else and started building it. It sat in the garage for 6 years. And Blaine came home with this grin from ear to ear. He just comes into the shop. He says, we got to put your car together. He said, in 3 weeks, I'll be done this Toyota, and if you don't bring it over, I'm going to drag another rusty Toyota into my garage. I said, okay, it's coming over. So I think that was about May. And I drug it over there. And by the end of January, it was ready. We were loading it up and taking it down to the desert to try it out. That's how blown away he was by the whole experience. He's like, we got to do this now.
Yeah, I think for most people, the first time you see Hammers, you walk away from there going, how do I get my butt into one of those seats? I mean, it's someone had said earlier, I think Curtis was saying it's addicting. It's absolutely addicting. Even as a spectator, it's addicting. I
mean, I have to say, not to interrupt you here, but I mean, Blaine showed up on the lake bed, rolls in at about 11:30, 12 o'clock, and everybody kind of already settled down. And Alex and I were sitting around the fire, and he's like, oh, so what's happening? And we're like, oh, not much. Alex and I are still kind of having a couple of drinks, and we're like, well, let's go see what's going on. We walk around, couldn't find anyone. And then this big V8 Toyota comes ripping down the middle of the street at us. And we're like, that's got to be Chuck. And he's like, who's Chuck? And we're like, I don't know, but he stole that truck. And sure enough, Chuck gets out. He's like, I stole this truck. You guys want to go for a party? And Blaine was in. He was all in. And it just, the rest of the week just sells itself. And that's the way it is. You go and you have fun, and it's random adventures of socializing.
Yeah, we constantly equate Hammertown to Thunderdome, and we're like we're pretty convinced that you can't get out of Thunderdome.
I don't know if it's Thunderdome. I think like if you followed certain people when it ended, they would take you to Thunderdome.
That's what they.
There are definitely people, Thunderdome people participants.
People from Thunderbone. Thunder what?
Thunder what?
Thunderbone. People from Thunderdome.
Where are you going in February?
People from Thunderdome.
I think that's a whole different.
Hold on,
race?
that's on Trailchasers. People from Thunderdome go to Hammertown for vacation. I think that's what they do.
Oh, okay, yeah. I think it's more of a business trip, actually.
So you guys have brought up the desert a couple times. Like, is there desert anywhere near you guys, or do you only can you only come down to Southern California to get it?
There's actually a desert by me. Not much racing goes on in it, but yeah.
Well, I'm just saying that's got to be hard to. How do you test? How do you pre-run and tune and test if you don't have a whole lot of terrain that's similar to the desert to do it?
We don't do any of that. Like I said, I just show up at the lake bed with a half-built car and just
There's hope for us.
And I just start popping tops as soon as I get there, and I have a great time. I don't know if I race or not. Whatever.
There's an over-under.
Here you go.
Yeah, there's an over-under on how many miles he's going to make it.
Exactly. Just show up with a half-built race car and wait until people bring you beer. And it happens. It's not like that's an exaggeration.
So what are we waiting for then?
Yeah, because none of us have a half-built race car. They're all daily drivers.
Well, most of our testing and tuning, if you want to call it that, are is on some of the local Alberta races, which are usually in the summertime. There's kind of the hay fields and stuff like that. They've got a few that they've got tracks built in, and we've got one or two spots that we can race at here within the province. The only other place that I pre-ran mine is literally in the middle of winter. The snow is actually the closest approximation you can find to the sand. Only it's a hell of a lot colder, obviously. But the type of terrain gets kind of similar. That you can get the big whoops and long straight stretches. And I actually had to when I had my motor rebuilt in, I think it was 2017. I actually had to break it in, and that's what I did. Is I loaded it up. I went out to the cut lines and I just ripped up and down. I had to wear it was cold as hell that day, and I got no glass, no heater, no nothing in that thing, right? So I was cold and stiff by the end of it. But
well, and I think the other thing to kind of note is we spend a lot of time rock crawling. We spent a lot of time rock crawling. We built a bunch of Jeeps, a bunch of off-roaders, and we did a ton of rock crawling. And so the learning curve on the rock crawling is probably a little bit steeper than the learning curve on desert racing, as far as I'm concerned. Because
that would make sense.
I mean, a guy might sit there and pull away from you in the desert, and you'll pass him and two of his buddies in the rock section because they have absolutely zero idea of what they're doing. And I think that was the one thing. I started out co-driving with Lyndon before I started building the Razor, and it was just like, hey, just we'll get them, just a steady race, hold the car together, steady race, and it was. We'll get them in the rocks. And sure enough, we'd watch 2 or 3 guys pass us, and we'd pass 4 or 5 guys in a rock trail.
Yeah.
Just having the rock background is.
Was that before you barrel rolled it end over end, or was that after?
Well, it was the fire, the end over end.
They weren't going past him. He wasn't going past him. He just kept seeing him as he was going around and around. It was like, hey, didn't we see those guys already? We have a.
I listened for years to Alex and Sheldon talking about how many cars are broken in the first 5 miles, and I thought to myself, they got to be exaggerating this. Then I get there and I roll a race day, and in the first 5-10 miles, there's got to be so many cars broken. I'm like, how the heck did you break right there?
Yeah,
there's nothing there for you to hit.
Because they all get there and they just want to party for the week, so they use the car as the excuse to go. They break down, and now they get to party for the rest of the week. So you talked about
that's what it's all about.
Yeah, Alex, you talked about wheeling in the snow, and we have a saying here on our show: if there's snow on the ground, turn around. That's it. We don't. If it's that cold, man is not meant to be outside, and that's how we live our lives. Only because the worst stuck I've ever had in my life is in the snow. The rock climb. Go back to the rock climb, though. I would also think, Curtis, that is where vehicles are most likely to break. If you've got a vehicle that can, if you take the right lines and have the vehicle that can sustain a good pace over the rocks, you've got a much better chance of making it through the flats. Would that be an accurate statement?
I mean, yeah, you're going to see about 50-50 on that, because you're going to see a lot of guys who are just hot and heavy about how fast their car can go, and you'll watch them detonate it. And seriously, we took off at the second race I was in. We took off, and literally, 200 yards past the start line, a guy basically yard sailed it off of the first kicker. And it was just like, these guys want to get out there and they just want to show, what they can do and how fast they can go. And a lot of guys are they don't listen to the car. They don't feel the car, and they destroy it in the whoops and across the desert. But yeah, I mean, at the same time, it's like you'll see guys, and I can't remember what the trail was called, but we were going up a trail and there's these guys flipped over and these guys up on the side of the hill, and we're looking around on the trail and we're just like, where are they going? Like, this is easy. You just drive up at the low spot and keep the tires on the rocks and go. And we did. We passed like 5 guys in this one trail within the first lap, and it was just like, okay, that was not too bad. And I talk big, and then you got Doug who goes into a rock trail and lays it on its side twice in like, what was it, 20 minutes, Doug?
For the record? Same trail?
So Curtis, so you're in a Razor. Did you have any experience in either the ZJ or any other vehicle before going to a Razor, or have you always been in a Razor?
No, so I literally have just finished my Razor. It's ready to basically drive down to King of the Hammers and race this year. And I've actually never put it into a race. We're into King of the Hammers. I rode co-driver with Lyndon Shepherd, who couldn't make the call tonight. And I was there. Unfortunately, I've been there for some of his big events. So we did qualify in his first year in his TJ. And off of the first kicker, about 100 yards out, we sat there and caught on fire, and that was pretty good.
But you said TJ, it's a Jeep, right? So that's a feature. That's an undocumented feature of the Jeep.
Sorry. TJ is the Canadian version of the 98 Jeep Wrangler.
Yeah, no, we were TJs down here. Yeah, they were the TJ here. I've had more than one Jeep catch on fire.
Yeah, no. So he caught that on fire, and we put it out, got everything out, took it back. It was an electrical fire, and we spent, I spent the next 36 hours working with 2 other guys, and we rewired it, and we just couldn't get it to idle, like 12 hours before the race. So we stepped out, and then he showed up 2 years later with a brand new car, and it was great, and the car was awesome, and it was fast. And at mile 19, he was very antsy, and we ended up going end over end, and rolling it and snapping. We ended up bending the end of a 14 bolt or a 10.5, and just like bending the end of it. And like our tire was sitting on an angle, and okay, I guess our race is done. We smashed the caliper, but it wasn't leaking. So we buttoned it up and drove off the race course. And then last year we did really, really good. Last year we held the car together. And so I was riding with him all along, and then just basically said, no, I'm done. I'm getting in the driver's seat. I can't do this anymore. I'm still going to co-drive with Lyndon. I love it. Great guy. Just, I want to get in that driver's seat and do what these guys do.
Well, it sounds like, I would imagine after spending any time in a co-driver's seat that I would want to do the same thing. It sounds like that's what Sheldon did. He was co-driving for a while, and then got tired of the driver's not
tired of winching.
That'd be my part. To be like, I can't look. I'm broken. I can't get out and do that stuff.
I built in the 4800 class, so I got a little bit more suspension. As I get older, I want more suspension.
Yeah.
The stock class, it's a little rough.
Yeah, let me know when there's a class for like 33-inch tires with air conditioning, and we'll do that.
Heated
seats. We'll do that race.
That's the 4600.
There's no minimum tire size.
Oh, very true. Very true.
What tires was Amber running on hers last year on the Suzuki? She had 31s, I think, something like that.
Yeah, I can't remember if it was 32s or 33s. Yeah.
Yeah, there's anyway.
We've often joked that we think Matt's basically stock Nissan Frontier would be able to do 80% of the course just because of the
well, probably 100%. Like if the difficult parts are downhill, then I just make sure to hit the gas, keep the momentum,
But yeah, that'd be fun to try. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of you here. We got 1 or 2 guys that still aren't on the call. So how does it, with all of these different vehicles and some of you being a driver on one and a co-driver on the other, how do you guys work? What's the team dynamic when it comes to the prep work, getting ready for a race like Hammers, and then the actual race day? How do you guys manage that?
Most of us we all live basically apart. Like Joey's in Vancouver, Curtis is in Calgary, Sheldon's in Grand Prairie, Doug's in Edmonton. We're all, except for Lyndon and I, we both live in Fort McMurray. So all in various communities all across the place here. So we all kind of handle our own prep. Obviously, if someone needs something specific done, I think Curtis's razors up at Russell's place getting wired right now, isn't it? Like,
yeah, you bet.
We kind of recruit people as needed for I guess specialized stuff like that. But for the most part, we all handle our own prep in terms of KOH and any other race. I mean, and in terms of like what races we go to, what we don't. Like, there's no real pressure to like you have to do this race, you have to do that one. It's like if you want to go, you go, and we'll just coordinate it, right? Like Hammers is kind of a big trip we do. Like we've been doing that, like I said, in various capacities, like various people each year, but like since 2015. So we've had people going down. So it's pretty much been a given that, somebody's going. So it's kind of just like who's coming, who's not. And we'll arrange it. And then when we're down there, the guy that owns the car and his co-driver tend to look after it. And anybody else that's there that wants to help and pitch in, that's how they do it. So
that's kind of cool. It's like a community cooperative of buddies,
skills and trades.
work together. And forgive me for my ignorance, but when you talk about the different communities, like when you name off those places, I'm sure I've seen them on a map someplace. But are you like
Alberta and Edmonton?
I don't know. I know where they are. I'm saying I couldn't tell you. Are they 15 minutes away from each other?
You are directionally challenged.
5 to 12 hours away, I would say. The closest would be 5.
Yeah.
Damn.
Wow.
Hacker Grand Prairie.
That's
we're probably 12 hours away from anybody.
And then Curtis is 3 hours south of me. So I'm kind of the center of everyone.
Okay, so you guys
that's my daily commute.
Yeah, I was saying, in Los Angeles, we drive that far to get to 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
So that's a quite spread area. That makes more sense now when you say that everybody handles their own prep for the most part.
We're pretty much Western Canada. If you look at a map, Western Canada, we're spread all over there. It's
we got it pretty well covered. Yep.
Yeah.
Wow. And so going back though, so if you guys are that spread out, when you guys say that you had experience wheeling with each other and being part of an off-road group, like how did you initially start to meet each other if you're that spread out across Western Canada?
A wonderful off-road event called ACE. So we all met in Grand Cache. Club members, registered club members, we meet up there in August and wheel in the Rocky Mountains, have a good time, and we all became pretty good friends there. So we haven't done that event in a couple of years. We're actually doing it again this year. We get everybody back together again in the mountains there and do some trail wheeling.
What time of year are you going to do that?
That is August, second weekend in August.
Okay, good choice. Yeah, that seems like a much better choice than January or February.
Too much snow in the mountains this time of year.
I think that would be bad. So the thing we haven't talked about yet.
I was going to ask. They run Nexen tires, right?
That's how they.
Segue alert.
Yeah, I was to say, exactly.
So that's not where I was going to go with it, but let's talk about it now since Matt had such a great segue. So how did you? Obviously we've got the Nexen banner behind us. We're sponsored by Nexen. I know that you guys have been working with Nexen. When did that relationship start and how?
Joey.
Yeah, sure. We've been sponsored by Nexen for 2 seasons now, and it just worked out. They were looking for a team to work with, and we were looking for some tire sponsor, and match is made right there, and they've been awesome. The sponsorship with them sort of came about kind of last minute before KOH 2018 and 19. Yeah, okay, so
2019.
So 2019, yeah. So Paul actually, Paul Joe showed up on the lake bed with a trailer full of tires for us, and we were all just, I think we all just had, giant eyeballs looking at this huge pile of brand new tires, and
a little bit of disbelief, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they've been awesome. They're fantastic tires. They've held up amazingly well, and we're really proud to be one of the first teams to work with them, and. But they've just taken such good care of us. We really can't. It's hard to say enough about Nexen, actually.
Yeah,
even though Alex never mentioned when he did finish second, he never mentioned his tires, and he didn't have one flat tire the whole race. I'm not sure how you
finished on the same 4 tires I started on. Yeah,
that's
wow.
Well, I mean, we've been running them for 2 years now or so, and
They work great in traffic.
Yeah.
When you're sitting on the freeway.
What's funny is like, I know this is going to sound lame, I think, but like, when you go out and you spend a crap ton of money on tires and you're out there wheeling, you think about that. You're looking at the terrain and you're like, well, I'm going to try to get my way around here. Knowing that Paul gave us these tires and he's kind of expecting us to provide feedback, and we promote these tires every week. Like, I intentionally go bash them. Like, when we go wheel, I don't think about whether or not the tire is going to survive that path. That's the path I want to go on. I'm going to go. And we just did 4 days in the Arizona desert with sharp shale rock on a shelf of an off-road trail that was like 500 feet down. And not once did we question the tires. And when we came back, they were all solid.
Yeah, I just had nothing but confidence on them too. At this point, I'm used to the traction or the expectation of their capability. They're pretty great.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that you guys had that same experience, and I feel like they're, as a brand, they're reaching more and more people, and people are going to get more and more becoming more and more aware of their capabilities, and it's only a matter of time before they really start gaining the traction, no pun intended, the traction that I think they deserve in the marketplace. I really do think
they're definitely getting noticed for sure. I want to get a lot of questions about them, like from local 4-wheel drive clubs around here in Vancouver, people that know we run them or seen it on our social media, and know that I'm with True North Racing. I've gotten, I don't know about you guys, but I've gotten quite a few questions about them, like, are these good tires, this good price, that kind of stuff. So they're definitely getting out there, and they were kind of known more for drifting, I think.
Yeah. That's where I first, my wife was in the tire industry when we first got together, and that's where I saw them, and that's where I met the Nexen people first time, was in the drift stuff, and they were great, but they, it wasn't until later that they added the off-road line. And I love it when people reach out and they ask me the question, and I always get hey, I know they're your sponsor, but seriously, between you and I, and I'm like, yeah, buy them 100%. I'll stand by them 100%. So, it's been a really, really good relationship with Paul and the people at Nexen. So there's your commercial, people. Go buy Nexen tires. I promise you won't be disappointed.
Oh, I mean, the whole True North team would support that fully 100%. Maybe not Joey, but I think that's Joey's driving more than anything. I mean, you can watch Alex run an entire race, and
I didn't have any flats. Well, I didn't have zero flats on Nexen, but I was running another brand in my first year, and I had 4. But I have a bit of a rep for destroying tires, and the next rims held up, and lots of stuff. Really, just like my car, generally breaking my car, and going for a walk in the desert. I spend a lot of money and a lot of time.
I was just going to say, you're a professional hiker. Yeah, you're a professional hiker. Yeah. True North Hiking is what that is. It's the True North hiking team. So we've talked a lot about King of Hammers, which is happening 5 days from now, right? Or
it opens.
Don't remind us.
Yeah, it opens up.
That's kind of a sore spot right now.
So like you guys are not going to be there, man. When did you? So the background is because of COVID. The Canadian government said nobody's allowed to go to America because Americans are screwing the pooch on this thing. And was it? I don't know. Was it closed on the Canadian side or was it closed from the American side?
Goes both ways.
We got a quarantine on the way back. We can fly down. We just can't drive down, which is the most ridiculous thing.
So you could fly down. Is there any way you could get the car shipped? Just get them freighted down. You can look. I don't live.
Send us some money.
I don't live that far away. I don't live that far away.
Let's use some of our podcast money.
And, we have the podcast money. I don't live that far away.
Let me just put all the sponsorship money that's stuffed in my pocket.
Yeah. Do you guys want some stickers?
GoFundMe, get True North Racing.
I have access to a very, very large warehouse, so you guys could ship them down to the warehouse and then pick them up, and we'll all roll out together.
That'd be awesome, except Blaine's cut my car in half. He says, well, I guess we're not going racing. We might as well cut the front end off and make the new stuff.
That seems like a logical solution.
Logical right there.
So, ADS, we're working with ADS to get new shocks on the 4801, and we stopped them halfway through the build. We're like, wait a minute. We don't want 16 and 18s. We want 14s and 16s. And Tyler says, okay, we're pretty much got them built, but yeah, whatever you want. Let me know. I'm going to KOH.
Oh, no.
So next weekend, the car's going back over to Blaine's, and he's going to cut the front end off, and we're going to revamp some stuff.
So when did you guys find out that you weren't going to be able to come down to go?
I mean, that was a conversation we'd been having. So we got our little group chat there where we're constantly on, and we'd been kind of like pinging the idea of like, okay, it's extended another 30 days. What are you guys thinking? And what are you guys thinking? And it was, it's getting to the point where it's, it's a lot of time off work and it's a lot of commitment. It's a lot of prep to basically be 100% ready for it. And,
and with the registration fees and all that stuff for KOH, like you kind of got to get in on the early bird stuff if you want to get without paying through the nose. And so we would have had to start putting out some serious cash that basically says, yeah, we're going to go. But our government, unfortunately, wasn't real confident that the border was going to be open because they kept giving just like 1 month delays to the, to reassess basically. So the last one they do it like the 21st of every month. So when they extended the December one to January, it's kind of like, all right, yeah, this isn't looking good. And they subsequently extended it to February. So it was the right call, but it still sucks either way.
What's funny is you're talking about Hammertown, right? COVID's probably the least dangerous thing you're likely to catch in Hammertown.
You're going to catch something.
Yeah, COVID, shit. Sign me up.
But most of those other things are cleared up with some ointment and a couple over-the-counter pills.
Yeah, penicillin shot.
COVID is a little bit different. I would imagine there had to be a point where it was go no go. Like there's way too much involved and too many moving parts to make this decision last minute. It had to be, and it had to be a tough decision. I mean, were you guys agonizing over it, or you kind of like whatever? I get the week off. I'll go someplace. I'll go next year.
Well, I think the other side of that is it's not just if the team can go, because the team. I mean, we can take 4 drivers and 4 cars and 4 co-drivers. But that doesn't help us when it comes to pitting and when it comes to fixing and when it comes to everything else. And I mean, we got to have that support. I mean, we have had an amazing group of people. I remember, my first year was their second year. I didn't get down the first year. And I think there was 10 of us or 12 of us total at it. And, pitting for the one car. And I want to say 2 years ago or 3 years ago, we had 38 people in our crew for 3 cars. Wow. And it is. People are just dying to come down and hang out. And
we've offered.
I don't even know 38 people.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, I just got a 1/2-inch impact for Christmas, so I'm eager to use it.
We've offered to help all kinds of people. Everybody that's been on this show related with King of Hammers, we've offered to work in their pit crew. And not surprisingly, none of them have called back. Not one of them. They've heard this show and they went, nope.
You guys would fit in great. We would accept that. You come over and we'll take that.
They want to finish the race.
Yeah. Look,
Curtis makes bowls of bacon. Like there's a bowl of bacon all day.
Oh my God!
Wow. I'm moving to Canada. What?
Wow! What? To be honest with you, I'd already be dead. Let's be honest here.
Is it like moose bacon?
I really don't.
If you need a guy to just hang out and point at tools with a can of beer in his hand, eating up your bacon, I'm your guy, just so you guys know in the future.
That's Joey's job, actually.
I'm really good at it.
Joey, I feel like you and I are kind of the same person in our groups. Like, whatever's wrong, it's Joey's fault. When it's broken, it's Joey's. Like that. That's me in our group.
But it actually usually is Joey's fault.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, me too. I mean, I'm not defending Joey. I'm not saying Joey didn't do it. I'm just recognizing that we're both wrong.
You're empathetic with what you're hearing.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying is that I know where Joey's at. Joey, do you get lost a lot?
Are you directionally challenged?
Desert?
Yeah, anywhere.
No.
Okay.
No,
okay. Well then,
no, I know where I'm going, but I also don't go very many places. So
I don't either.
How about bicycles? Are you have you fallen off of bicycles a lot recently? Are you okay?
No, it's too much exercise for me.
See? Yeah. All right. I did
no one had to bring that up. No one had to go there. So with Hammers being off the calendar, what kind of race season do you guys have scheduled?
So we've got there is a call it a local Alberta organization that puts on usually a few races each year. They're called Punisher. They basically use the Ultra 4 rulebook. It's actually put on by a few of our fellow Canadians who also go to King of the Hammers. Brinkfab. Those guys actually organized this. They started it up in 2015, and they've got, I think, 3 tentative races planned for this kind of spring, summer, fall time frame. And there's also I believe, Ultra 4 North has at least one event in Montana this year. Is it just the one, Curtis, or is there more than one?
Yeah, there's one event in Montana, and then there was one event in Moab that was April. But again, we're thinking April's still a little bit of a stretch for our government to piss off.
Yeah, I think I'll probably just try to stick to the races on this side of the border just to avoid any disappointment.
I was going to say, did you guys annex Montana? Because I think that's still in America. As far as I know, I think it's still in America.
I think Montana just does whatever the hell Montana wants to do. They decide. I don't know. Don't they? It's Wild West, man. They walk around with guns on their hips, and
I'm not sure there's enough people.
I love that place. If I ever leave
take it over, and nobody would find out. Yeah.
Sheldon, you said if you ever left Canada, that's where you'd go.
Yeah, Montana would be the place. Yeah.
Isn't it one and the same?
I'm sure at some point before someone arbitrarily drew a line on a map, it was the same thing.
But it's practically like tropical for Canadians, right? It's like the southernmost part of Canada would be Montana.
Funny. I'm sure you guys.
Alex didn't mention the race we had in Quesnel, BC last year. They put on a race. They called it COVID for Lake Ultra 4, but different. It was kind of an invite only. We went out there and raced, and it was a great success. They expanded their racetrack for us and learned some things. They're going to expand it a little bit more next year. I think they're going to put on some more. Doug was there. Brink Fab was there. A lot of the Ultra 4. There's a couple 4,400 cars there. We had a really good time, and looking forward to going back to Quesnel, BC for that one. So. Well, they'll more and more stuff's popping up. The sport's getting more popular, so people are starting to realize how fun it is. So.
And Quesnel, BC, I'm going to translate for Californians. That's Quesnel, British Columbia, Canada, right? Yeah, we don't know. It's so like geographically speaking. Like I'm looking at a map now. The vastness of Canada, and it's like just broken up into like 5 or 6 provinces. I think that's a way smarter way to do it. Like I just think that they got it figured out. When it comes to like the different places that you live, like Vancouver and Calgary, like how varying is the terrain? Like, do one of you live closer to mountains and the other one's more like I know Vancouver's close to the ocean. Like, I mean, does that play into how you guys wheel or what experience you're able to have for these types of events?
Yeah, totally.
We have a lot of rocks and those types of trails around Vancouver, so it's easier to practice rock crawling here than some other places. The other guys are close enough to the mountains. I don't know how far away you guys. Sheldon, you're not that far, really. I don't think.
I'm pretty close. Yeah, I got a good variety of muskeg, mud, dirt, and mountains.
What was that?
Fort McMurray guys are pretty screwed though. They got nothing up there.
What was the first thing you said?
We got mud and muskeg and.
Well, hold on. I
said it again.
What is muskeg?
It's awful.
Evil.
It swallows vehicles whole and doesn't give them back.
I'm serious. I've never heard of this. What is this?
So it's basically like all the spongy organic material that from when like plants die, like forest floor kind of stuff. Only it's super thick and usually pretty soft and wet. And it's awful to try and wheel in. It's even worse than mud. So.
Thick, soft, and wet. I don't know, man. That sounds good to me.
Are we trying to put together a theme on this show or what?
Yeah. No, it just happens organically.
Yeah.
Nice.
Anyway.
So that, I mean, I would think if you're looking at the King of the Hammers and the Southern California or at least Southwest desert and the harsh nature of the terrain, even though it's 150 degrees out here, I would think that you guys have like the same, it sounds like the same harshness. It's just a lot colder, which I would think would be even harder on a vehicle other than the radiator. Like, does that translate? I mean, is the harsh cold winters and mountains like a good proving ground for the desert?
It's totally different.
Yeah, it's quite a bit different. I other than the other Alberta races, I don't really go and wheel the race car at all. Like just recreational type wheeling. It's like you said. It's got no windshield. It's got no AC. It's got no heat. It's like the worst possible vehicle to try and go in recreational. It's got spools on both ends, so and it doesn't have plates. So like, couldn't even drive it on pavement if I wanted to. But like it's really just the racing and kind of the KOH pre-running where I actually really drive it. That's the only real times. So,
I mean, if you look at all the terrain that's around like Alberta, like for us, 30 degrees, 35 degrees for top temperatures, like out in Vancouver and stuff like that. I mean, you're getting up to, I guess if we're going to try and transfer that to Fahrenheit, you're about 100 to 105 and stuff like that. So we do hit those temperatures around here. And I mean, we do have a lot of trails. Not so much dunes. I mean, there's certain dune sections in and around Alberta, and scattered. There's a dunes up north of where Alex lives, and yet it's completely labeled as protected land. He can't take his Jeep up there. And I mean, there, like Joey said, there's a little bit of a desert out where he's at. And I mean, in Alberta, in Calgary, you're splitting it. You're 10 minutes to the prairies, which are just open fields of nothing and dirt, maybe not the loose sand, but then you turn around, you go the other way, and you're half an hour to the mountains. And so there's lots of terrain we can practice with, but as for driving across the desert in the sand, that's we get to try that once a year.
Yeah. Pretty fun.
I was just going to say, I know there's a dunes I'm looking it up right now. There's dunes in Oregon, but I just looked. It's 8.5 hours away.
Again, they can't cross
I've been to
the
those
border.
I'm not talking about this weekend. I'm talking about like, I for some reason I thought that was an option for them.
Oh well, that's nice.
That would be practical for me to take by, but only for me, I think, because that'd still be pretty far for the rest of the guys. But yeah, I've been down there, and they're pretty awesome.
Are they?
Hey guys, if you wanted to jet ski, there's a river. It's between California and Arizona. It's Colorado River. You just so you know, you could jet ski there if you wanted to.
I was just trying to be helpful, and
same.
It didn't work. It didn't work. So what's the next event? What's the next thing that you guys are going to be racing, and when is that?
Well, we haven't actually really talked about it too much, but we had talked about possibly Moab. Although the way that the border closings are looking, I don't know that that's going to be.
Oh, that's the one
realistic.
in April, right?
It's in April, yeah. But after that, I believe May is the first one that Punisher's putting on, correct?
Yeah, it's second weekend in May.
Second weekend in May. That'd probably be the highest confidence one, I would say, that we'd be going to, would be that one.
And what city is that in?
That is actually it's kind of right in between where Doug and Curtis live. It's kind of right smack in the middle of Alberta. So
yeah.
Okay.
Bit north of Curtis, bit south of Doug. So it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. Kind of an old racetrack that they've kind of added a bunch of. They got kind of made it into about a 7-kilometer short track, and just kind of do like a multi-lap race. And they've got kind of an old oval track that they serve. They kind of put some artificial rock obstacles in there and use that as kind of the start and end. So it's but it's a fun little track.
If you're looking for it on a map, it's called Tail Creek Raceway. Find a couple of videos of Alex on YouTube.
Okay.
It is out there. Not how easy to find, but it is out there.
Yeah.
And since you've got time between now and the next race, what kind of recreational offer? I mean, do you guys is the group able to get together for recreational runs in between there because you guys are so spread out?
I mean, the next big recreational one Sheldon mentioned is Ace in August, and I don't think there'll be I don't think a lot of us will be crossing paths, to wheel other than at the races, of course. Before then, I suspect that Sheldon will do some wheeling with TNT in his area, and if I ever decide to get my TJ rolling again. If it'll even move anymore, I might try to get out for a bit of snow wheeling here before the winter breaks. But yeah, I think that'll probably be the next time we all kind of wheel together. Would be at the next race, really.
I mean, we're a bunch of web wheelers in between races where we just trash talk each other and talk about how Alex doesn't know how to drive and he ripped his fender off on Doug's car and Joey couldn't catch them because he had a flat tire and Lyndon rolled his car. It's just a bunch of trash talk.
It sounds like you guys need a podcast is what that sounds like to me.
Yeah.
It sounds like, because that's pretty much what we do is we get other people to come on the TV in the studio and then we just make fun of each other the whole time. That sounds like about what we do.
Yeah. Pretty close to what we do.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, I think it's really cool that I've known. It would be easy if you guys were all in the same general vicinity. Like for us, it's easy to we all go wheeling, we all do stuff together because we're all close. We all live in the same general vicinity. I think it's really cool that as spread out as you guys are, you've found a way to stay connected throughout the season, throughout the year, and then you come together for the big events to help each other out. And I think that's I don't know. I just think that's a really cool dynamic in the way you guys have been able to build that.
Probably good. If we were physically closer, we'd probably hate each other so much that we just want to.
I was going to say it probably wouldn't work the other way.
Yeah.
I think it'd be hilarious if you guys only talked to each other when you got onto podcasts. This is the only time we ever talk to each other. We're too far apart.
I hate that guy.
You should take the script from our group messenger, how that goes back and forth. You could probably make a pretty funny comic book on that one.
I can imagine some of the text chains that we've been on but usually, I don't know about you guys, but with these two, it usually ends up down the path of either UFOs or conspiracy theories.
Oh, yeah.
Or they'll just take it and just turn it into something completely asinine.
You love it. You love it. Don't act like you don't like it.
No, I don't. I
mean, I think it gets asinine, but I think it's just more along the lines of who sucks first and who's going to do what next time. And, fuck you, Alex. I'm not cooking for you.
Yes.
Okay.
Nice. Yay. He's writing it down.
The first bleep was that what? We made it almost an hour.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Just about an hour.
My bad.
No, that's
absolutely
not.
The
chat room's going to start going wild.
Yeah, the listeners are waiting for it. So what'll happen is, so after we do this segment, we usually have a second segment where we're talking, and if there has been no F-bombs, the chat room starts taunting Jose to try to drop one before the end of the show. And one of these days, I'm just going to end the show super quick and be like, thank you, good night, and keep him from doing it. But somehow he still gets it in there. That's what she said. So long term though, guys, I mean, it seems like you've made a really big commitment, not only to, the racing piece of it, but as a team. I mean, is this something you guys see doing long term and you're going to continue doing it as long as you possibly can?
Yeah, my kids are right into it. My kids love this. They got posters of the famous race car drivers all over, Shannon Campbell, Jason Shear, Lauren Healy. They're, they love it. Yeah.
He said famous.
Alex comes into the house and he's like, "How come there's no posters of me anywhere?" Or he's that, "Hey, Uncle Alex is here. Do you want me to sign a poster for you? Do you want me to sign a poster?"
Yeah.
Well, you know what they want? They said, because they got a nice Nitto Tires poster and stuff. They said, why doesn't True North Racing have a Nexon Tires poster? So we need to work on that. We need to get a Nexon Tires.
I know some people that can make that happen.
Sounds like we need
to make that happen next time we're down there. But no, my kids are in it. They love it. I'm doing it for the kids. That's what I tell my wife. I'm doing it for the kids.
I'll have to remember that one. I don't know if it'll fly though.
You have to have more than one kid, I think.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. More than one kid.
You do for my kid. Take my kids.
I'm doing it.
Take my kids.
I have to have more than one kid that doesn't get car sick off-roading and actually has an interest in doing it. So right now.
Well, I mean, I know for myself when I got home from Hammers last year and I was just like, no, I'm doing this. I'm getting this car. It's going to be ready for May and I'm getting this Razor done and it's just going to be 100%. And I literally got home from Hammers went to work, came back and dropped the car off to get a cage welded on it and just started going crazy on it, and COVID hit. And I was just like, oh, cool, downturn, everything like this. The world's going crazy and I'm building a race car in perfect time. just like right on key. And I mean, I had a bunch of long talks with Alex and a couple of conversations with the other guys and just being like, hey, you guys are still in this, right? Like we're going to go with this. We're going to keep going here. Cause I got this razor torn to bits and pieces and I want to keep going with it. And I mean, I'll honestly say, I don't think I could do it without the team that we have. Like, I mean, I couldn't go out there by myself and just try and run this and try and be out there and, without the pit support, without the families, the friends that come out there, the people who come out and support us. I mean, whether they're cooking up food for us, they're cleaning up for us. Nexen Tires showed up and it's like, hey, cool guys, here's 45 tires you got to balance or mount. And, you got to knock the old tires off first. And it's just like, oh God, this is awful. Did anybody bring a tire changer? Nope. So, I mean, it only works with all these people and, it's that commitment, and it doesn't work for everybody with everything that's going on. And, I'm fortunate enough that I've been able to continue working through this and I'm still working and I still want that dream. I still want to, as Joey puts it, I want to cross that start line and at least start the race,
Yeah. That's about as far as I go. But, it strikes
enough for me so far.
It strikes me that you guys are probably the type of guys that, obviously you have your text chain and all that stuff and you use technology and social media, but the minute you guys are on the lake bed together, it's like you've been at each other's side the entire time. Like there's no missteps. Everybody knows everybody. You're just working like, there's always that group of people that it doesn't matter if you've talked to them two weeks ago or 2 years ago. The minute you get down next to each other, it's like we're having a good time and like no time is lost. And I feel like the dynamic that you guys have, the way you talk about it, it seems like it'd be that kind of environment where just you show up and wrenches start flying and everybody's trying to keep everybody's vehicles going and make sure everybody gets across the finish line. And I think that's pretty awesome, man.
I think it is.
No, that absolutely is. When I show up there, I remember exactly why I can't stand all these guys. It's like I just saw them last week, and it's really weird.
We really appreciate the fact that Joey lives in Vancouver and is far away from
Well, I appreciate that he lives in Vancouver too, because I think it's the closest to where I'm at, and so I'm gonna have to come visit Vancouver and check that out. I'll just dip my toe over the Canada line and decide if I want to keep going after that. There's a lot of mooses up there.
15 minutes from the border.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Well, guys, I thank you for this. Worked out great. I was a little bit concerned about all of the different chat heads we had up here in the studio and how we're going to make that work. But you guys have been fantastic. I think, I think the dynamic of your team and the story is very, very compelling. And the fact that you guys have had success on Nexen Tires makes it to me that much better, because we have a lot of faith in the brand and a lot of loyalty to that brand because of how much they've supported us. So, where's the best place for people to go to find out more about you guys and your team and what you have going on?
I would probably say our Instagram feed has the most content on it. So that's at True North Racing. Most of the content's also duplicated on our Facebook page again, which is True North Racing. So there's a lot of information on all the different cars. Some videos of me walking in the desert. And go check it out.
Oh, the desert walker, I love it. And their website is at truenorthracing.ca, because it's across the border. You don't use the .com, it's CA, because Canada they manage their whole other.
They have their own internet,
separate internet. It doesn't have any viruses. Their internet has no viruses. You don't have to worry about it. So
does it have other things?
I don't know. I've never searched for those other things in Canada, so I don't know.
Because you guys know about that, right? There's some other things.
Trailchasers.ca. See that? You search for crackchaser.com. That's where you can find Alex.
You guys can have the Canadian version, and we'll take the .com version.
Theirs is gonna be nicer though.
Yeah, theirs will be all. Yeah.
It's probably something like PG. You know, like
very, very nice
chickens.
Chicken.
I don't know.
No, that's crack chicken. Never mind. There's another one.
No.
Just, hey, edit that.
No. I'm sorry.
Edit that one out.
Matt's Tourette's just kicked in. I'm sorry. I don't know what just happened right there. Seriously, guys, thank you so much for coming on the show tonight. This has been a lot of fun, and we are hoping that you do get the chance to make it down here again. And when you do, let us know. We are ready to we're ready to stand in the pit and point at things. I mean, that's what we do. So, anything else, guys, before we call it?
Thanks for having us on. It was awesome.
Yeah, thanks very much. It was great.
Yeah. Thank you, Joey.
Nice.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Hey, are you looking to upgrade your PC, whether it be for gaming or for video production or whatever your needs are? Go to evga.com and check out their products. They make top-of-the-line graphics cards, power supplies, gaming keyboards, audio cards, cooling systems, accessories, cases, motherboards, you name it, they've got what you need to build a PC. They've stepped up and helped us build a really solid machine for the streaming that we've been doing on YouTube. And if it wasn't for these guys, we'd still be fumbling around trying to figure it out. Please support them. Go to evga.com. At checkout, use the code Trailchasers, and you can get up to 10% off anything you purchase. So go to evga.com, use the checkout code Trailchasers to get a discount. Thanks, EVGA.
You're listening to a 4x4 Radio Network podcast.
The Trailchasers podcast is a member of the 4x4 Radio Network. If you want more off-road shenanigans in your ear holes, go to 4x4radionetwork.com to hear episodes of the Jeep Talk Show, the 4x4 podcast, the Center Steer podcast, and On the Trail with Kevin and Scott. All right, thanks to the guys from True North Racing. They were a lot of fun.
I would have expected more beards from Canadians.
And there was not one conversation about moose. Moose.
Not one A.
There was a couple boots, though.
yeah.
There was a couple boots.
There's a few boots.
Boots.
But no beards. You would think like, I don't know, maybe I just have like a different impression of like what Canadians look like. You know, like
they didn't wear any animal pelts either. Is that what you're expecting?
I didn't see any animal pelts.
I didn't see any flannel
or flannels. And no beards. You know,
these are modern Canadians.
My assumption was you guys are all lumberjacks. Like that's how you make your money.
Yeah, it's like
you're lumberjacks, and then you race cars. Cool.
Syrup collecting.
Yeah, that's right.
Maple syrup factory.
That's right.
I know.
Honestly, it'd be a lot of fun to hang out with those guys.
I bet it would be. And I've been wanting to go to Canada for a long time, like just for a vacation, but I do not believe I could survive as a human being living in Canada with
Especially
the temperature.
I heard Edmonton, it gets really
all those guys are like teenagers. I don't know. They're all very young. It's very difficult to live up there.
You age by like 30 years.
It's in Canadian years.
It's rough. That's why he wanted to. That's why Sheldon wanted to move down to Montana.
Yeah,
because it increases
it knocked
lifespan.
10 years off his life. Yeah, add 10 years. Yeah,
exactly.
Add 10 years to his life. Well,
dude, they don't have ozone up there. It just contributes to the cold. It's rough.
They don't have ozone up there?
The ozone layer is gone. It's
not up there. There's because it's all the forest. They got
trees don't produce ozone.
No. And it's funny on the live feed.
Do they? They don't destroy ozone.
I don't know.
No, they don't. Magnetic waves produce the ozone.
Oh, come on. Okay,
dude.
So we got a voicemail apparently. So we have a voicemail. I've not listened to this, and I don't know what it is going to be.
This is you, probably.
No, it's not.
Gag.
It's
some dumb
Fody kissing.
Hey, gentlemen, it's Ali from Canada. It's been a while since I called in, so I thought I'd call and leave you a voicemail. And I don't think you get enough voicemails, so I'd have some spice variety for you. A couple of things. One, I wanted to know where my Trailchaser stickers were. I asked for them like weeks ago, Cody. Come on, get on the ball.
Okay, stop right there. Tammy mailed them out for me the other day. I had I think 2 sets of stickers to mail that I just kept dropping the ball on.
Are they stuck in quarantine?
I don't know. Yeah, maybe they're not letting them across the border. But Allie, I think yours are ones that got mailed out
So we would like a retraction. We would like another.
No, because I'm pretty sure he asked a while ago, and I told him I would do it and drop the ball, and had Tammy do it.
Canadian-centric episode.
Yeah, it was. So we'll after this episode, I'll go back and double check to see if those are the ones that I sit down.
And secondly, this winter I'm building an overland trailer, and I wanted to know what your opinion was on rooftop tents. I have a family of 4, my wife, myself, and 2 boys, so we need a soft shell because it's going to sleep 4 people in a hard shell. That's too small. And I was wondering what you thought of Wild Coast tents. They're one province over, so they'd be my closest local supplier. But I wanted to know your opinion. What should you look for? What's important in a rooftop tent? What to avoid? Anyway, I want your opinion. Maybe you can throw in some flow charts and spreadsheets or some shit. I know you like that.
Okay, so real quick,
that's the only thing we could contribute to that conversation.
Is
a spreadsheet.
Real quick. No, your stickers did not go out to the. I had Tammy send out. I'm looking at those 2, Tad and JC. I did not have yours in there, so I will ask her to send those out tomorrow. I'll go back through the conversation and find your address again. As far as
we gotta give a huge disclaimer right now. None of us own a rooftop tent.
Yeah.
So everything we say from here on out is pure opinion and
or based on we've been camping with people. We've been out camping with people that have them. I think he's right. Finding a hard shell that could fit 4 people would be
too many. That's
way too expensive or not enough room.
People don't even make it. But I would suggest they have that soft shell that opens up. You can get like an awning room. And I've seen people put like a cot.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The same thing is that you use the
you shove the kids downstairs.
Yeah, if you get the annex, so you can get because I think you can get a soft shell a soft shell rooftop tent big enough to fit 4 people, but that's a big ass tent, and it's probably going to be for the same price. You get the standard hard soft shell rooftop tent with the annex.
Yeah, and then just
do a
couple
cots on the bottom. And that's what that way it's less.
It's less weight on
top of the car, less people moving around up on the tent. I mean, I don't know how old your kids are, but
plus you get some special time. The kids are down below.
You mean sleep?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
yeah. What were you talking about?
Wrestling,
Mom and Daddy wrestling,
rooftop wrestling.
I think that's the route I would go. I agree.
Yeah,
with you,
if I had
Jose.
a family of 4, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, you know what, Jose?
I mean, I'm 30, or I'm like 66% of the way there. Like 75.
I think it's 75.
75.
I think you're 75.
You're a math teacher, right? Like you're you're working towards being a math teacher. I would expect that bad math from me. You were. Yeah, you were. Yeah, I that's the only thing I can. And as far as that name of the tent that you talked about, I've never heard of him.
At this point, man, like I think the quality of rooftop tent, like it's not like such a secret anymore, right?
Yeah. There's been enough R&D done and people borrowing ideas. I would say zippers.
Borrowing.
Oh yeah,
I think
that
zipper,
number one.
That should be number 1 on a tent.
Zippers. Verify zipper functionality.
Have a mat tent R&D the zipper.
Or if you know any hairy bears and you just trap them inside the tent.
I understand you can on Meetup. You can find hairy bears. Hairy bears.
Meetup.
There's usually hairy bears.
.ca for Canada. What do you think that's on that website?
That's a category in crack chasers.
Oh Jesus!
I say cock chasers earlier.
I knew you were. That's where you were going. Cock chasers. I knew that's where you were going. Chickens. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's
rooster chasers.
Come on, that's the joke, Jose. I gotta spell out the jokes for you.
Yeah, sometimes. Okay. Sometimes you go too deep.
It wasn't good.
He's never been too deep, dude.
That's never been the issue.
That's not what I heard.
That's not what my sister said. But I think I still think the overland trailer and rooftop tent is the direction. Speaking of, like 2 weeks ago, remember I talked about that Smitty. If I could find one of those Smitty Bill. I've had like 3 people send me messages.
I sent you one.
Yeah, I've had listeners, and you said like, here's one in Fontana for $5,000, and I'm like, damn it. I got one literally that like I had my my financial advisor. We had a meeting, went through some stuff.
Is he selling his or what?
No.
Is your financial advisor Tammy?
No. But the next day, someone sent me a one, and I was like, I literally got scolded last night, and I was told that I can't spend any more than this much, and this is way out of my financial advisor's budget. He won't let me spend money.
The one I sent you, it's a while now, but it was I think $10,000.
Yeah.
But it had everything. It had everything.
Yeah, but I got
Is it a tent or a trailer?
No,
the trailer.
The trailer
But it had a tent
with the
and like a battery. Like it was all
Yep.
hooked up, ready to go for $10,000.
I already got like that shit in my garage. I got a tent and an old battery.
Just get some 4x4s to build out the frame, and then
All right, I'm right there, dude.
2x4s to just hook up the tent. And
You
we're
want
good to
some
go.
wire? Just a bundle of wire? I'll lob that in there too.
So I still think that's the route I want to go eventually. I just don't know. I don't know. See myself pulling the trigger on it right now. But yeah, I think that's a great option for a family of 4, and you get the if you do the annex route. Here's another thing: if you do the annex route with just a 2-sleeper on top, if you ever go just by yourself or him and his wife, he's not lugging the big tent for all 4 of them.
Yeah,
And then he just uses the annex when the kids are there. I don't know.
Sure.
That's my thought.
yes.
You just I concur. You just also just sleep in your truck. Like, I ain't loading that tent.
That's more argument for a trailer, like because it would always be ready to go. Well, always.
Well, I mean, we talked about it before. Like if I had one of those trailers, you'd have most of the gear already in the trailer, the tent already on top of the trailer. The only thing you'd have to do is pull out the drawer where the ice chest or fridge is, hopefully, and load it up. You know what I mean? Load up the food, load up everything, and hook the truck up and go.
Yeah.
You know, I hate, and I know you guys can give me shit about it because of the amount of stuff I take, but the worst part of any trip like that is trying to find a way to load everything into my truck and then unloading it when I get home.
Yeah, I just have a corner in my garage and just lob it all into that corner, and then go back to that corner, back the truck up to it, throw it all in there.
Back.
Yeah.
Sometimes I come back, there's less shit in my truck. It's just less shit to unload. Maybe it's out on the trail on the Kessel Run. Probably.
But
Large Tupperware boxes
of toilet paper.
Of toilet paper still sitting out there.
No, we clean up the mess. We clean up after you when you do that.
Or you call it treasure and just say it's out there for somebody to find. Whatever's in there.
All right. So with that said, let us know how the build of your trailer goes and what kind of tent you end up with.
Was he building a trailer or just looking for the tent?
No, I thought that's what he said. He's building an overland trailer, and he wanted to know our opinion on the tent. Mm-hmm. And Allie, I'll have to go back and see if I can find your address and see, because I thought I was all caught up. I'm sorry, dude.
Sorry, dude. You're probably not getting those stickers.
You'll get them. I don't know when. I thought I was all caught up with the last 2 rounds of stickers I sent out.
Look, I got a couple
today.
Dodger stickers that if you send me a message with your address, I'll probably send you a couple Dodger stickers. Championship ones. It's got the trophy and everything.
He's from Canada. They don't even have baseball in Canada.
Yes, they do. Toronto
Blue Jays.
Thank you. Yeah. There you go. They used to have the Expos too.
Oh, that's right. They did. The Montreal Expos. They were cool. So we just had that long conversation with the True North guys about King of Hammers. That is happening right now.
Yeah, when is that? See, it's like 10 days from now or something.
Well, it's the event.
No, it's 2 weeks from now.
No. It's January 30th through the 6th. So like it's like happening.
Yeah, but the weekend we would go would be the day we would go is Friday and Saturday, the 5th and 6th.
Well, I'm just saying, like this Friday,
Hammertown opens. I think.
Yeah, this Friday, Saturday is when like people are going to be showing up, and then the week after, the 5th and 6th, is when we had originally talked about being there, and that sounds like that's not going to happen. Wah, wah, wah.
It's gonna be raining.
There's
be cold.
There's so many things like
cold
every
raining.
time every time there was something that I was like, that's okay. It's okay. But now it's like there's so many things stacked up against it. I'm like, this is just a bad idea.
Yeah, CCR's out there. Cold, COVID, and raining.
Cretan's Clearwater Revival?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So yeah, it does not look like that is going to happen for us.
Apparently, I've heard someone talk about possibly heading somewhere away from Hammertown that weekend.
I got a text message from one of our friends.
I don't know though.
That had a great idea, and I don't want to mention the location because he said it's his private.
Mud Raider's like, won't the rain be keeping the COVID down like dust?
It can't spew. It can't. That's true.
It can. You know what I mean.
So Scott, our buddy Scott Wolfesteig sent
I thought you just said you weren't going to say who did it.
No, I can say who. I'm not going to say where.
Where?
Yeah, he said that he's got a special place in a special special place in his heart for us, and then but he said he's got a what's wrong with that?
I'm laughing because he's laughing.
I know. He's got a special place where he said that might be a good alternate to going down the Hammers route. So that's something we need to explore as a possibility. I would love to do an overnight trip somewhere. Just a one-nighter.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
I need it. I'm tired. I need it. So we can look at that as an option. The only downside to that is he said there's 8 to 10 rigs max. Like that's in the camp spot that he's talking about. Okay. There's not a lot of space there.
And if you're Mark, then it's like there's only 3 spots.
Yeah, then it's just,
you brought the
it's
the yacht.
It's Mark and one other guy.
Yeah, pretty much. We can fit 12 people here except Mark showed up. Who's out there? Just Mark. He's all by himself.
Mark's got to have me and Cody go out there as like tugboats and kind of chip them around corners and stuff. Big old foghorn.
So Scott's in the chat room and he says we can maybe do 15. Okay, but again, does that include Mark? If Mark's
that 15,
we're up to 5 or 6 now.
Yeah, Mark and 5. So that's an option. It's something to look at. But I would love to do just an overnight. It's going to be cold and possibly rainy. So that's another factor.
He said we can go out this weekend and asses. That's what it says in the chat room.
He said,
let's go this weekend, asses. I think he's calling us asses.
Okay, but
I believe he said we can go out and assess.
Oh, assess.
Okay. Yes.
Hey, let's go out this
Scott,
weekend, asses.
You're letting the cat out of the bag, bro. He's like...
No, see, come on, Scott. I'm purposely not telling people where it is because you said it was your super special spot, and then he's out here blabbing where it's at.
That, and then there's that spot he's telling us.
Yes, we were gonna, Scott. That was gonna be between us. That was gonna be our special spot.
Mark says we could all just climb in his truck.
So I'll go wheeling in one truck.
Yeah. All right. True. That's true.
That is true.
I'll tell you what. Mark brings like extra heaters and shit and like popcorn.
Yeah, he's got the fridge, and he and Abby made great food every night.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, Mark, just pick me up on the way, dude. I'm not even gonna take my truck. I'll just ride with you guys.
Man, we still need rig does seem like just throw everything in the back.
Dude, okay, I talked to you about this a little bit. So at work, we got 2 new F-150s in to replace a couple of our fleet vehicles.
I'm sorry.
And we had to go scout out some stuff, and my buddy and I jumped in one of the new F-150s just to take it to drive around town. Super freaking nice, dude. The interior of that new F-150 is super nice. And this isn't even like high end. This is like a fleet vehicle, maybe.
Does it have the folding shift knob or like
no, that one didn't. No. But just like the
just one more thing they can break.
The instrument cluster and the seats.
It's called the pre-broken knob.
It's
Coachella.
It was super. It was super, super nice, and it made me wonder if I could wheel it full
come
size.
on, stop it.
No, I'm just saying, it was comfortable enough to where like I would like to wheel this.
I miss the space in mine. Like, I miss the space. Like, I didn't carry that much stuff in the back, but just being comfortable.
Mm-hmm. What?
Nothing. We're just talking about carrying things in certain places. Find that funny. That's all.
I really liked the comfort of that new F-150. I was really surprised. No?
It's a Ford, dude. I can't back them. Sorry.
Mm-mm.
Okay. All right then.
Yeah, we also talked about Lytle Creek. What's up with that? What's up with that?
What's up with that?
What's up with that?
Ooh, was that supposed to be this weekend?
What's up with that?
Yeah, you guys.
What's up with that? Dude,
That's not that old.
Saturday Night Live. That's like last season.
No, you're like Jim Belushi days.
No, that was Saturday Night Live. That's Kenan Thompson, Saturday Night Live. Top.
And what's his name doing like the dancing in the background?
Jason Sudeikis doing the hype man dance in the back.
Man, it's great.
Yeah, I don't.
It's great, Jose.
Lytle Creek, we did have a conversation. It's close. It's easy.
There's a bunch of snow in it right now.
Dude, snow right. It snowed today on the 15th.
Did you see the pictures from Mom and Dad's house?
No.
Oh, so my mom and dad's house, you haven't even been there yet, have you?
Yeah, I have.
Okay. So, when you walk out on the patio,
Twice.
you walk out on the patio, my mom and dad have like it's probably a 3-foot tall rail around their patio. And then the ground is probably 4 foot down from the top of the rail. So, because you drop off the patio, Mom sent a picture. The snow is to the top of the rail all the way back to the fence.
Oh, damn, dude.
Like it's probably 3 foot high all the way back to the fence.
So what happens there? Like, does Grubhub still deliver to your house?
I don't know.
If you order groceries, will they still bring you groceries?
I doubt it. Mom said that they went to the grocery store last week to stock up and get ready.
Yeah. Is that what you got to like?
that's a veteran
how do you get
move
out
right
of there? I'd like to not be in my house. Just tough round. You're just stuck in your house.
I guess Casey shoveled the driveway for him.
God. How did Casey get out of his house?
I don't know.
Man.
I don't know. But that does not sound like fun. I don't. Maybe we just rent a cabin. Why don't we just rent a cabin up somewhere? Can we rent a cabin in Lytle Creek and not have to camp? Because if it's that freaking cold, dude, I'm not going to be down with it.
No.
Snow camping?
No, I have no interest.
I've seen people do it on Instagram, and I think you're insane. That is insane. Can you sit around a campfire in the snow?
Yeah.
How does the fire work in the snow? Fire, snow.
It does not
water.
compute.
Bad. It's crazy.
So I'm trying to find Lytle Creek weather. What's the?
It has to be in the 20s tonight.
I'm trying to see the 10-day forecast to see how it gets.
Yeah.
34 right now, and it is
high 20s in the night.
It shows that through Monday a low of 38.
Yeah, but what about nighttime?
That's the low. That's the low of 38, right? 10-day weather forecast. If it's gonna be that cold, dude, I'm not camping. It's like I don't even care. Like it doesn't make sense to me to do that. So as of Wednesday, the 3rd, so this is the Wednesday before we would go. The low temperature expectation is 32.
Nice.
31 on Tuesday, 32 on Wednesday.
So what you're saying? It's another weekend of sitting around my house watching Cobra Kai. All right.
Yeah. I'm saying that it is not. I'm not going to camp and I'm not going to get the girls out there to camp in 32-degree weather either. That's
if you had an adventure trailer. Things might
no, because that rooftop. Even if I had that trailer with the rooftop tent, it ain't insulated.
Oh no, you need a heater.
Yeah,
like a buddy heater.
No, not at all. It is ridiculously going to be cold, and I don't want any part of that. What's Scott? What's the temperature going to be like in your secret spot? Probably. Well, it's further north, so it's probably going to be
About 98.7.
Oh, 98.6.
It took me a second.
Oh, man.
Shit. It took me a second to catch that. Yeah, see, Scott's saying it's about the same. It's going to be, dude.
It's about that hot
It's
in
gonna
my
be dark and gloomy over there.
It's about that hot in my secret spot, too. I think.
I don't think that's the case. It's going to be 32. Like, it's going to be cold as balls everywhere we go. So unless we can find a place with like a hotel, I don't think we're camping.
No, I don't think so.
That's how cold it was at the when we went to the overnight for New Year's, and
oh yeah,
it was like 30 degrees.
Oh, for sure. But that was what he's talking about, the winter expedition 2 years ago. Yeah. It was balls cold, freezing cold. Like for sure. But I don't know. It wasn't raining. Oh, I guess it was.
It was all wet and muddy, and and cold. It just amplified the cold.
Yeah, I don't think that that's going to happen. Maybe a day trip on that weekend, but I don't see us camping any at all up there. I'm trying to look at the let's see what would be a close. So, we'll see what I'm going to look up off the 395 to see what the temperature is going to be like. And it says
it may get into the mid-20s. Perfect camping weather.
Nope. Yeah, I just don't have it in me. That is not at all what I'm not at all what I'm 22. So up off the 395. Wednesday the 3rd, it's 22 degrees. A high of 48. So no, Scott, you can keep your special place to yourself. I don't think that I don't think, and even Anza Borrego, it's going to be cold.
It's freezing down there, dude.
So maybe a day trip that weekend, but I don't see a camping trip in my future, especially because if I was going to go, I wanted to bring the girls with me, and that's just not going to be fun for anybody. So we can have a conversation about where we go for a day trip.
Okay.
All right. Anything else? Anything else you guys want to talk about before we wrap it up? I think all three of us are pretty tired. Long, busy day.
Long day.
And I got a couple more long ones ahead of me. All right, chat room. Well, thank you for hanging out, and let me know if you guys have any comments. And Allie, I will try to go back through your messages and find your address and have Tammy send those out. And I apologize for the delay.
Don't blame Tammy for it.
No. I'm not blaming.
Take ownership of your mistakes.
I fully dropped the ball, and I had to ask because I didn't have time. I asked Tammy to mail them out, and she did. The two that she mailed out the other day.
I got a book for you.
Yeah.
Extreme ownership.
I read it. I have it.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what book I'm into right now is Ride of a Lifetime.
I thought it was going to be the written version of the Traveling Pants.
No. No.
I love the movie so much. I'm reading the book.
It's the Bob Iger story, and Tammy was listening to it.
The movie is better.
Tammy was
Who's Bob Iger?
ex-CEO of Disney. So Tammy listened to the audiobook and she told me that I'd like it, and so I started listening to it, and I love it. And I'm an hour in. Absolutely love it. Great book so far. Very interesting story.
4 chicks, 1 pair of pants.
You're an idiot. All right, everybody, have a good night.
I'm Presley, and thank you for listening. Thank you to Max and Taye. Thank you to Icon. If you want to be on the show, call 951-394-DUKE. Thank you to Ryan Torino with all of the music.